Imagine a high-ranking general, one of the guys who holds the keys to America's deepest, most sensitive secrets, just vanishes, gone without a trace. Now, this isn't the plot of some new thriller. This is a real-life national security crisis. Let's dive into the story of a man who might have known way too much. So, this is how it all started, with a news report that, on the surface, just looks like another sad missing person case. But here's the thing. Major General William Neal McCaslin was not your average retiree, and his disappearance was anything but standard.
All right, so let's start with the facts of what actually happened, because this case went from a local search and rescue to something way, way bigger very quickly.
And right there, that's the moment the story completely changes. You have to understand, when the FBI uses a phrase like grave national security crisis, it's a massive red flag. This stopped being about a missing person and became a frantic race to find him and to contain the secrets he knew.
So, who was General McCaslin, really? And what kind of secrets could make one person so incredibly important? Well, he wasn't just a general. He was literally a gatekeeper to some of the government's most hidden worlds. Okay, so check this out. McCaslin was the former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory, and as it says here, this place has deep ties to the whole UFO story. We're talking about the lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the same place that's at the very center of the Roswell and Project Blue Book legends. It's basically ground zero for UFO secrecy.
And if you think that's wild, his resume gets even crazier. He was in charge of something called the Special Access Program Oversight Committee. Now, in plain English, that means he ran the Black Projects, the SAPs. These are programs that operate in total secrecy, and it's been rumored for decades that if the government is hiding reverse-engineered alien tech, this is where they're doing it. Totally off the books, totally hidden from Congress.
So let's just put it simply. This guy wasn't just a cog in the machine, he was the master controller. He literally held the purse strings. He managed the money, the research, the people for programs that were supposedly dealing with technology not from this planet. And that is why him just vanishing sent massive shockwaves through the entire intelligence community.
Okay, so now let's get back to the scene of the disappearance itself, because the details that were left behind are just, well, they're bizarre, and they make absolutely no sense when you put them all together.
And this right here just lays out the puzzle perfectly. I mean, think about it. He leaves his cell phone and his smartwatch behind. The two things you would definitely take on a hike, right? For safety. But he took his wallet. That doesn't sound like someone who just accidentally got lost. It feels like there was a plan, but a really, really strange one.
And the clues just keep contradicting each other. This guy was in incredible physical shape, a serious outdoorsman. His wife immediately shot down the idea that he was confused, the whole silver alert thing, saying he was 100% with it. He decides to go for a hike at 11 a.m., which is literally the worst, hottest time of day in the desert. And all of this happens in one of the most secure high-tech areas you can imagine, right next to Los Alamos and Kirtland Air Force Base. How does someone just poof, vanish from there?
But the how he disappeared might be less important than the when, because the timing of all this is incredibly suspicious, especially when you zoom out and look at what was happening in the news at that exact moment.
This timeline just puts the whole thing in a completely different light. It's stunning. First, you've got former President Obama on TV just casually saying, of course aliens are real. Okay, a few days later, the White House announces they're going to release all their UFO files. And then, just 1 week after that bombshell, the very man who holds the keys to all those secrets, General McCaslin, disappears. Is that a coincidence, or is that cause and effect?
So, okay, if this wasn't an accident, then who was behind it? And that brings us to the biggest theory in this whole case, something people are calling the legacy program.
I mean, the name itself, right? The Legacy Program. It sounds like something straight out of a spy novel. But according to some very high-level whistleblowers, this isn't fiction. It's a very real and very powerful group that's been operating in the shadows for a long time.
The Legacy Program, as it's been described, is the secretive, unelected group that has allegedly been controlling all the UFO secrets for decades. They operate completely outside the normal chain of command. Presidents and generals come and go, but this program, it just keeps going, keeping the lid on everything. They, in theory, the real power behind the curtain on this topic. And look, this isn't just some theory from the internet. This is what whistleblower David Grush warned about under oath in front of the United States Congress. He claimed people involved in these programs have been hurt, or worse, to keep the secret. He said flat out, they will stop at nothing. And here's the bombshell. An Air Force source, someone who knew McCaslin, confirmed that he wasn't just aware of these programs, he was direct managing them. He was overseeing the reverse engineering of, and I'm quoting here, technology not from this world. He was a core player in the very program that may have decided he needed to be silenced.
And this wasn't a secret, at least not in certain circles. His name has been on the radar for years. What you're looking at here is a 2015 email from the big WikiLeaks drop. It's from astronaut Edgar Mitchell, writing to a top White House official, John Podesta. And in a private chat about UFO disclosure, who do they name? General McCaslin. He's been a key figure behind the scenes for a long, long time.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? Well, we're left with this huge unsolved mystery that, honestly, no matter which way you slice it, points to a massive failure at the highest levels of national security.
And really, it all boils down to two terrifying possibilities. Theory 1, the shadowy legacy program got rid of one of their own, maybe because they thought he was about to talk and support the White House's disclosure plan. Or Theory 2, a foreign adversary like China or Russia kidnapped him to steal America's most advanced secrets. I mean, either one of those is an absolute catastrophe.
And that right there is the bottom line. It doesn't even matter who did it. The entire system, the security apparatus that's supposed to protect our nation's most important secrets and people, it just failed completely. One of the most important human assets we had was just plucked from his home.
Which leaves us with this really chilling final thought. You know, we all say we want disclosure, we demand the truth about UFOs. But if a story like this is any indication, you have to seriously ask yourself, in a world built on secrets this deep, what is the actual price of telling the truth?